Here is another quick 9 playthrough here on the channel for you all. The date and the divisions, of course, shown on screen in the thumbnail. Remember to hit thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well. Timestamps in the description down below, and remember the replays here are from old tournaments, so use the old ball attribute levels, which have now, of course, doubled. Hope you're enjoying Quick 9. Good luck, and remember to tweak according to your clubs and balls and wind angles. Here we go.
Now, with enough tailwind in this hole, you can actually be cheap, and I'm going to show you a shot with the Titan in this wind angle. P6 max stretch, bullseye is shown in the middle of that fairway strip, and then we're adding our spin. We're going with 5.8 top spin and 2 right spin. The reason I'm using the Titan is because I want the extra wind push. You can, of course, use a berserker as well, but then it makes the second shot harder. If you don't have this amount of tailwind, though, I would suggest you lay up either on that middle fairway, dodging the water or the sand, or you play out to the fairway to the right. The disadvantage of using the right side, though, is you have quite a downhill approach, and it would be with your wood club. Full overpower, slow needle, perfect ball away. Bouncing where we were aiming, stretched out, and we want to get a good roll out here. Just making it out there is a risk of a dead bounce, so the adjustment was max plus 5. If you've got more topspin available, of course, you should use it. Second shot with the Thorn. The good thing about going aggressively here is we can play with the Thorn, find the min and the max line. Alternatively, get yourself a reference check in tournament mode. If you're getting a pin check or a fringe check, that will help you narrow down some slider percentages. But if not, estimating is a decent opportunity, maybe not as good as finding a reference check though. Setting up on the fringe for the best bounce here, and then spin as needed in tailwind to get the ball guide just short of the cup, because the tailwind is going to push us on more than is shown by the ball guide. I estimate this to be around mid-distance. I'm going to play with 10% elevation, and that's what I would use as a starting point in all wind angles. A very, very close miss here, just a little tweak needed to the aim or a correction of pull angle. Obviously, if you're playing into headwind or crosswind, you need to adapt the position of the ball guide accordingly, but a very good chance playing aggressively for the eagle. Another NMT setup with the quarterback and a kingmaker here. I've dropped this with multiple wind strengths as well. We're going to go with 1.8 backspin and 1.4 right spin. Unusual spin amounts, but take a token or two. Put a tweak in if your eyes see the decimals a little bit different to me. But the adjustment here is min plus 15, power 3 settings. Min plus 15, power 3. I do 5.8 and then the remaining 5 to the bullseye. Just to have that said, try and replicate as much as you can here. And a perfect ball here, centering, no curl, no overpower, unless you're building in any tweaks. Bouncing very nicely over the rough and the sand, and we're rolling in for a hole in 1. Very good chance for an albatross here due to the funnel on the green. We're going to play an NMT shot with our Apocalypse P6 ball. We're going with 5.8 topspin and 3 bars side spin to the right. Then we adjust max plus 10. If you've got APOC 4, you'll be fine for this shot, but after you adjust, you need to push up a total of 6 yards or 1.7 rings to compensate for the lack of distance. Please note this is really a tailwind drive. You're not going to make it over with the right distance if you have headwind here. Going with full overpower, it's a slower needle and plenty of right curl as shown. Minor greats, doesn't really matter here. We're still going to make it over there. And then we're rolling along the fairway very nicely. Drive distance is going to be around 425 yards. Now, second shot, I'm estimating my club distance with the Thorn. If you don't get the drive distance, you can still play a rough bump with your Grizzly. Same principle applies, really, still an excellent chance. But as I say, estimate your club distance here. General elevation is going to be minus 10%, as this one does play uphill. We're going to need topspin to make it up the hill out of the rough. And I'm going with just under 5 bars of topspin and 1 bar side spin to the right. Setting up quite high in the rough because we are going to adjust down the slope, and it's going to cause us to lose distance on the shot. That is something you will need to do in tailwind. Crosswind, you're fine to aim with the top of the yellow ring touching the rough. But in headwind, obviously, you're going to adjust to a higher point on the green, so you might need a click or two of underpower or to modify your position slightly. But the rough bump is absolutely the best chance. Great safe, providing you have set up your shot correctly with regarding to adjusting to a higher or lower point. And as I say, -10 elevation, lovely channel to the pin for your albatross. On this par 4, I'm going to use the Thor's Hammer followed by the Guardian, adding my spin first with the Kingmaker, and I'm going to go here with 6.5 top spin and 3 bars side spin to the right. You can play this one with APOC 6 and above, or extra mile 9 as well. I would suggest you aim a little bit to the left here by about 1 ring, because my second bounce is fairly close to the rough, so I would just shift the target slightly to the left. Adjustment is max +10, and I'm going with 0.8 ball curl to the right. And we want to swing this ball round, try and cut the corner here. You can see there the bounce is very close to the rough. So a little less curl, or setting up, like I said, a ring or 2 to the left is going to be fine, but we want to go around 400 yards. Second shot, I'm finding min line of my club and max line. Going to estimate club distance as best I can. It's going to be around mid-distance as a general rule here, and I want to use the backspin and the slope at the back of the green to check the ball right down from the slope, bouncing back to the green and near the hole. In the video here I played mid +10, however this is over adjusted. I would recommend you play true club distance with 0 elevation instead. I'm intentionally leaving the ball guide to the right of the hole rather than aiming at the pin, because of course the wind angle is going to push us in to the left, and you would need to offset accordingly on the other side if you've got crosswind from left to right. So 0 elevation would have been better on that one.
Now, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so. Details on the screen now. As part of your perks on certain days for the Quick Nines, there will be some Patreon exclusive Master General playthroughs for those holes used. So make sure you check us out there. With the Kingmaker here looking for eagle and no more than that, adding 4 top spin, and then we are going to play with the APOC and the Cataclysm, or the big dog, whichever you have that you want to use. Topper +10 with APOC 5 and above, and we're aiming towards the very tip of that fairway. APOC 4, you're going to be at P3 max rest, but still add your spin, 4 top spin, and just aim right down the tip of that fairway. Max +5 power 3 is what I go with in the video here. You will see I land slightly left of centre on the fairway after I've taken my shot. If you want to, you could play with power 4 numbers just to make sure that you're a bit more in the middle of the fairway. But bear in mind the second shot here is based on this drive placement, so if you want to tweak, of course, feel free to do so. But we're getting a good distance here of around 360 yards. Second shot, we're going to add 0.8 top spin and 3 left spin first. Then we find our position at P3 max rest, and you want the second bounce just where the rough line is. You might need to tweak the top spin if you had different distance of drive. Once we find that position, you respin to 0.8 top spin, so the same top spin, but you change to half a bar of left spin. Now it does look strange, but like I said, the wind is going to do the rest of the work here. We're adjusting max +5 power 3 settings. And then it's time to take our shot. Of course, important to hit perfect here with lower accuracy clubs. And we're going with no curl, just a perfect ball, and the wind will push us into the rough, and the top spin will roll us just nicely out onto the green. And all I'm looking for here is a safe way to reach the green and putt for the eagle.
Few ways you can play this par 3. It is a tricky one though. I'm going to show you a very safe bounce up with the sniper instead. 1 backspin and 1 left spin, and I'm having the blue ring hugging the rough line at the beginning of the fairway. And you can see there's a little sticky spot and a funnel, not much of one though, but try and find a consistent spot. Ball guide pointing to the hole. You will need to vary that according to your wind angle though here. Mid-distance, 15% elevation is the general elevation I would use, and is what I use in the video here. If you want to go more aggressively, then there is a sand bump available from the right-hand bunker immediately before the green. However, you would need some practice tokens to dial that one in. Finally, as there is some tailwind here, I go with a little bit of underpower. You can investigate playing further up as well on different parts of this fairway, but it is very bumpy, but we're avoiding a glitch roll, just missing to the left-hand side on this awkward par 3.
Now, although you can support us financially on Patreon, you can also join as a free member. If you do that, you will get bonus master level text guide content from the Coalition. They produce text guides for free every tournament, free to play balls, and we send those out when they do so. And they very kindly agreed to let me share their archives of all the courses used in this season of Quick Nines for you all to use, because there may be some wind angles that you get as part of the Quick Nines that they have in their archive. So you will receive those if you join us as a free member on our Patreon. Here we're going to need the APOC and the Grizzly. 2 top spin, 3 right spin, and it's the red ring touching the rough on the right with APOC 5 and 6 at the top of +0. APOC 4 you will be at +6 with 20% of the red ring overlapping the rough. Push rings to adjust, otherwise the bushes there are going to obscure your view of the rings. So push rings to adjust max +0 power 3 settings. Going with some curl here, half a ball of curl to the right, and just before the circle drops as our overpower reference. Hitting perfect here. If you do adjust into overpower with APOC 4, then I would add that on accordingly. But APOC 5, you're going to be fine. And we're going to get a drive distance here of around 325 yards. Don't want to push it much further because I'm going to play rings from min with the Grizzly. So finding the minimum distance line, I've added here 2.7 top spin. Might need to vary depending on your drive distance, but then I'm counting up rings from min and having the top left of the red ring touching the rough, and then the ball guide going to the pin. Here I pushed up 7 rings from min, so I'm going to play this 9% slider. You'll see actually the tip of the ball guide is just through the back of the cup, so keep that reference, otherwise you might be short. So tweak the top spin, make sure the ball guide is going just through the back of the cup. 7 rings from min is going to be played 9% slider, 0 elevation, power 3 settings. 1 pull here because we're less than 10 rings, so no need to worry about pulling over the bullseye twice in this instance. Perfect ball away, and you have a decent chance. If your drive is too long, then you will not be able to play with the Grizzly. You'll be with thorns, so that's why I'm deliberately going for that length of drive.
Got really close with this attempt here on this par 3 in tailwind. We're going to play with the sniper. Red ring touching the rough at the top of +3. Adding spin, it's 5.5 back spin and it's 0.8 left spin. A bit hard to see. This is a very old replay before the spin bars were changed, but that's the spin that I was using here. 5.5 back and 0.8 left spin. We're adjusting here mid-distance 15% elevation in this pretty straight tailwind angle. Even if you don't have tailwind though, there's a decent chance of dropping this one. You will need plenty of backspin though. I'd reduce some in level crosswind, and obviously you would need to reduce further in headwind because that is going to check the ball up. But definitely a good bounce point here. Perfect ball away, bouncing really nicely. Just needed a click or two of curl to the left for this one to drop.
If you are enjoying the free content here on the channel and want to help out and keep everything free, then please consider making a small donation. All donations are gratefully received and help me out here on the channel, as all of the content here is produced for free in my own spare time. You can do that in one of 3 ways. You can hit the thanks button here on YouTube, you can make a PayPal donation via the link in the description down below, or you can also join us over on Patreon. Details at the end of the video.
A long and tricky par 5 here. The drive is all about getting close to the end of the fairway without rolling into the rough. It is easier said than done. 5 top spin, 1 left spin. P6 max rest with APOC 5 and above. With APOC 5 and 6, I've got the red ring touching the rough. Tailwind angle here means we can attack with the Guardian for your second shot, so make sure you've got it in your bag. You can still get to green in 2 with the sniper in crosswind as well, but you'd obviously have to bounce over the water. But the drive here, max +10, and then we are taking our shot. Again, like I say, it's very, very difficult to get consistent yardage here. You don't want to roll too long, so a practice token is advised. You want to pull up just before the end of the fairway. I'm using the Guardian here in Tailwind. I'm going to go full blast and use the spin, the massive backspin we have on the club, with one left spin to bounce directly just before the green and get the spin to grab and leave myself a putt. This is not a hole that you will see many players get an albatross on at all. We're adjusting max plus 0. Now the amount of push-up you need to do after this all depends on the wind strength you have and also the wind angle. So again, a practice token is advisable to at least secure the eagle. You will see a lot of players birdie this hole. If you can't go full blast here, then lay up to the end of the second fairway in headwind and then try and get a wedge or a short iron. Or if you have crosswind and not much tailwind or headwind, then you can bounce over with the sniper, play with a lot of right curl, top spin into the rough beyond the water and roll out to the green. Pushing up as shown there, full overpower, doesn't matter about the great ball. It is going to be a shaky needle though. We're bouncing there, loads of room for error, the backspin grabs, and we are ending up there with a very, very short putt to secure the eagle on this very tough par 5.
Thanks very much for watching this video here on the channel. If it has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it amongst your friends and clanmates in the game. Join us also on Facebook. Head over there, search for BK Golf Clash and join our free group. Loads of members there sharing shots. Free guides are posted as well as loads of other great Golf Clash resources. So check us out there. You can join in the discussion and also leave feedback on the game in general. Finally, if you wish to help support the channel and keep the content free for everybody, please consider becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the video description down below. Good luck, see you soon, bye for now.